Okay, guys, yeah. So I don't know. It looks like the U.S. is starting to push into the South Asia concerning India a little bit. And why is it concerning to India? It's concerning to India because it's right next to India. We're talking about Bangladesh. The U.S. have been holding drills with them so far, three drills. And Myanmar is just right next door. All the unrest in Myanmar, the takeover of the junta, meaning the military government, has been pretty much held by them. So, but there's a lot of civil wars going on, all kinds of factions breaking out and blasting people. So, what's going on now that way? That's what's going out that way. A little bit of a new touch. I don't really talk much about that area. I do talk about Southeast Asia a lot, about how just damming up rivers has caused, you know, a soft power situation where they can either destroy and kill, you know, countless amounts of money worth of property damage just by releasing a good amount of water or an extra amount when they should be releasing a small amount. Or they can just do it destructively and say, F off, I'll do it any way I want. They don't have to. Usually, you tell people about how much rainfall just happened so they can pass it down. We're getting 3 inches in less than an hour, so expect flooding to come your way. But people don't always, governments don't have to do that. So they have soft power against anyone that goes down where the Mekong is. It's called a different river in China, but it's the same thing that's going on with the Indus River Treaty that was just ripped up between Pakistan and India. That's an even more interesting one. And there's a huge flood, and India just had to release countless amounts of gallons worth of water, and it's really contributed to one of the worst ever floods in the history of the globe, they say, that we know of. I don't know how accurate that was. I just got that from one source, but it's bad nonetheless. And they just got $1 billion from the IMF again. This is their 20th loan from them. They do really low interest rates for countries that are stupid, like Pakistan. They just can't get the government. I'm not saying the people are stupid. I'm saying the government is acting stupidly. The military has too much of a Khan, the guy Khan, he's imprisoned. He was the president for a while. The president does not have as much power as you might think. If they are not aligned with the military, they're really in trouble because they're the one with the guns, right? And there's been countless coups over the years, and they have nuclear weapons. So that's why the IMF continuously funds their, degenerate, I guess, gambling on their citizens. I mean, when the monsoons come, you don't know how bad it's going to be. Up in the Himalayas, it's crazy over there, right? You had a cat, and they've been fighting over Kashmir region for so long. Anyway, India just ripped the treaty up, said F off, because the Indus River is important for crops. It's important for livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people, of about 100 million people. Pakistan's a huge country, and India is a big country. That river is huge, and China is up in the Himalayas doing their own little thing, because they have owned Nepal, Tibet, the rooftop of the world, and you get the monsoons, but you get, just the Himalayas themselves cause global cooling, somewhat. Regionally, it creates the monsoons. It meaning yearly, annually, you'll have melting, and that water feeds everything. All these rivers, the Ganges, the Indus, you know what I mean? The Mekong. But that's what China's been up to over in India and damming up rivers right about by Laos. In fact, funding the money so Les could build a bunch of them. They have the most dams, I think, in that area of Southeast Asia. They have like, I want to say 20. And then you got to remember how important this river is, though, as it gets deeper and deeper. And then it turns itself into a delta, which becomes like an inland fishery every year for the Vietnamese. And they count on that for a huge percentage of their GDP when it comes to, fishery and other things like that. You're going to get, you need that annually. So that's tough. And then, China's claiming their coastline too. They claim everyone's coastline. I mean, they do not follow what's going on, in the international community. They claim the 9-dash line, which is like ridiculous. So the Philippines and Vietnam, but now not with the Philippines because it's an island. They don't worry about water, but they have their own problems, right? They don't have a big navy, right? Now, the U.S. has a bigger and better, not bigger, not by amount of ships, but by tonnage, by weapons, by quality, by experience, by every single thing that is in the Navy. Okay, now we have like 11 aircraft carriers, and we have those small aircraft carriers, right, which become lethal too, because now you have the F-35. Whichever branch you have, A, B, and C. One of them is for the Navy because it vertically lifts and then flies, and it can land vertically down. So you can take one or two of them with you instead of just helicopters now. So they become even that much more lethal. You got to remember now the B-2 Spirit, there was 21 of them built. Skunk Works built them. One of them, there was like a mechanical error because of the humidity in one crash, but each plane was like $1 billion, and then they stopped, so the production costs stayed there. It would have decreased as you build more planes. You can see that with any system, but production, as it gets better and longer, and they have more time, yeah. But now the B-1 Raider is out. Its distance is further. It's a smaller plane. That means just by the fact that the plane is smaller itself, makes it less observable, but I guess the maintenance was crazy. You had to keep it in like a storage area with like a perfect temperature, and every time you couldn't leave when it wasn't the B-2 isn't an all-weather plane. Like you don't send it out when it's raining and stuff like that. It has to be a clear day, and so I guess they've eliminated that prospect. I mean, I think that has been eliminated, so that's another good thing. But the distance is huge, right? If they can have a couple of drones that can refill and then get blown out of the sky, because you want to be able to reach, not be seen, but drones, if you have enough of them as tankers, in my opinion, just tankers, just to have oil, gas, jet fuel, and you start filling it up the whole way. So even a quarter of the way there, you have one fly in maybe. I know it might give you away at first, but you get refilled as much as you can. You get out there, and then you can kind of sneak your way out of there. But beforehand, there's going to be a lot of espionage going on, kind of like what happened. Now this is what's crazy. Let's talk a little bit about this. This is so nuts. Iran got so smoked in that war. What happened was the S-300s and S-400s. Like, there's GPS in there, and Russians want to be around those, want to know where they are. They keep their eyes on the ones that they sell, kind of like the U.S. does. The U.S. has all kinds of regulations and things that you must do if you buy from us. Like, you can't, fly it to another country, airport, stuff like that. But, yeah, so I'm getting, hold on a second. Anyway, so the regulations, that are put, so they knew where every one of them was, and they had quite a few of them. That's why you didn't see one single plane get shot down, because Russia told China because secretly Russia knows, and Russia, I applaud them if they did this because they may have saved the at least one country, Israel, because if they get the bomb, because they don't want them to get the bomb either. They don't want them to get the bomb. But what Israel has pulled off recently is some of the most unbelievable espionage. I mean, everyone was involved, the Shin Bet, but Mossad has done. So anyway, either the Mossad tricked, got the information in-house from Iranians that get paid handsomely or whatever, or just flipped over for ideology reasons. You get that sometimes. But you remember, this is a real poor country, and they're mad at the regime. Of course, they're going to get people that are so upset. And Mossad's good at finding those people that are. So now there's this big roundup of people that are being tried and eliminated. Usually it's the human rights people, more to the left hawkish, are going to be. Yeah, they're already started being thrown in prisons and trials and all that crap. You know what I mean? On state, but they're going through a huge water crisis over there now. Therefore, speaking of building dams, when you don't need to build dams, just to line the pockets of whoever sits in that industry, there was like some regulated body or whatever, and the more they build, the more they made and were able to line their pockets with. So they didn't care about. So now the water crisis is so bad. I mean, it is so bad. They're using it for crops, just like every other country. It's mainly wasting on crops. And then, I mean, they've had time to do this, but they have exported so much of their GDP to other. They thought that was the thing, the trifecta, to have like the Houthis under their control somewhat. Never have full control over a government like that. I mean, over a terrorist organization like that. They had Hamas, and then Hamas too, I call them, Hezbollah, but Hezbollah with the pager thing, and the timing was perfect. It was right when the war started, and it's like, you mess with us? Okay, boom! They started launching missiles at us early in that war. Then they stopped after the Lebanese government was like, listen, and you guys got to stop, and so they listened, they stayed out of it so far after that short barrage and the pager incident knocked out. And then we took out their top guy also after the pager. He didn't die in the pager incident per se. He died in a different strike a little bit later. Really demoralizing, cutting the literal head of the snake. He was a guy that's been around for decades too. And to get that guy taken out, it really has hurt that. So now we got that, right? You know what happened in Qatar. We'll get to that in a minute in Qatar. But even before that, let's stick with Iran. The Mossad was able to trick. This blows my mind. 20 of the top elite generals, and how many countless others have already been struck and killed. I mean, for like weeks. During that period and even afterwards, things were blowing up everywhere, fires, all kinds of sabotage. But like, oh my God, dude, they got 20 generals to sit down to plot the revenge, barrage of missiles that they were going to send and how they were going to send it and how many or whatever. And my understanding, it was just one missile, slipped right in there, boom, killed 20. Maybe one or two other died, unfortunate deaths, collateral damage. But yeah, that was insane. And then, I mean, even the nuclear, so you have the nuclear sites hit hard and own the skies. So Iran had just gotten to some pact with them, signed some 20-year pact with Russia, some bullshit pact. I don't know what it even was about. It was so stupid. But, they always have the war drills and all that. But now they're so upset because every single one of them, they didn't even fire one missile, I don't think, at a plane. I mean, that's how devastating it was. It started out just all of a sudden, these sites, every one of them, S-300, S-400, blown up. After those were gone, it didn't matter. And you could put drones over the sky anyway, put mostly drones up there. So if they do fire up, they're taking down a drone, and I haven't even heard of any of that going on. I don't think they took down even any drones. Like, the American military lost 15 drones, upwards the Reapers. All of them were Reapers, and during the war with the Houthis that went back even into the Biden administration. But you had quite a few shot down. We don't like to tell you about that, and the media, the mainstream doesn't like to tell you about that. But we also lost three F-18s, the Super Hornets, all from stupidity. One was we thought it was a drone incoming, so we shot it down with friendly fire. He survived, obviously, thank God. The plane did not. So that was one. The other one was landing. There was a problem, technical problem. Either the cord itself, the arresting cord it's called, it stops the plane from going overboard when it has to land. So either the hook from the plane comes down with a hook. So there's something screwed up there. So there's your second plane. Guy survives. Now, if someone died, you would have heard about it. You know what I mean? If we blew up and the guy died, shot your own fucking plane, that's one thing. But so thank God, for public relations, it must have been like, oh my goodness. So the third one was even more hilarious. Something I like to say you get out of like an SNL skit, for Christ's sake. I shit you not. The Houthis launched a barrage of missiles or one missile, but they were constantly shooting missiles at the aircraft carrier. I forget the name of the aircraft. Anyway, a lot of them were 100 miles off and stuff. But anyway, there was some panic. Maybe it was heading too close for comfort. So there was evasive maneuvers that take place. And during that evasive maneuver, there was a sharp turn. And during that sharp turn, you'll see it, one side dips, and during the dip, the other Super Hornet fell into the water and fell to the bottom of 10,000 feet. It's so deep, I don't even think they would go get it. But I don't think anyone knows exactly where it is but us. So, which is a good thing, I mean, obviously, just like some of the software and stuff like that on there. I don't know if you could ever get it back or not, but they should have self-destruct buttons, don't you think, guys? Let me read some of these. I'm so new to this. I just talk, guys. I'm sorry. Oh man, I'm an idiot. He's like, you got a booger. I don't think so. Oh, maybe I do. Oh my God, guys. I feel stupid. Thank you. Most people don't do that. Like in real life, they just allow you to walk around like that. You know what I'm saying? All right, anyway, I hope it's, now it sounds like I'm a drug addict. No. Anyway, hope that took care of it. Much love and positivity to all. Okay, now Britain has VTOL since the 1990s. I don't know what that means, honey. Candace D. Fitzsimmons. What am I talking about? Oh, just listen and you'll find out, ma'am. We tweaking hard this morning? It has nothing to do with tweaking. It has everything to do with just trying to get my issues out there as far as the way facts need to be spoken in this country. And I'm like not on some big crusade or anything. If I could make money doing this, that'd be great. But I don't see that happening. But I do like to teach and I do like to explain. I have the time to do so, and I've had definitely in my professional career throughout my entire life, 45 years, I have an authority to be speaking right now about what I speak about, especially geopolitical stuff. Okay, but I don't know, man. What do you do for a living, or what have you done? I'm just curious. Yeah. Ah, shit. Anyway, it's ridiculous. Look, everyone, it's a homosexual. Almost looks like it from what I'm wearing. Everything else is in the wash. No, I lied. I just thought it'd be a nice thing to wear. Just shiny, but it does look kind of gay. And if I was gay, I wouldn't be less, I'm Jewish. I'm, listen, I don't think it's a choice, Anyway, where do I sit on what? Gay marriage and stuff like that? Listen, look at that gay man. Yeah. Well, you're the one talking about it, bro. I mean, Jesus. That's all you like. The first thing you say, and the second thing you say, usually the third thing you say is, "Oh, I find I am too." But hey, look, man, it's tough. It's tough. I swear, man. Listen, I don't want to talk about anything like that. Might have to just get rid of you, buddy. It's disgusting. Where was I? Stupid. That's why I talk more than I read. You do the math. Hello, sir. I do math. Can you? I doubt it. I doubt it. You just like to see dancing bears. You know, come to this channel, you learn something, and you want to discuss or debate. We can do that. You give me a phone number, call. We can make a call right now, and you can discuss it right now. But what the hell would you like to talk about? Hey, Brooke, what's up, sweetheart? We're just talking about all kinds of stuff, you know, geopolitical stuff. So anyway, but I'd also, this has been in the news, but if anyone of my subscribers is here, you could attest to what I'm about to say. Now, if you check my videos, my shorts, they're all short, so you have no excuse. They're real quick. Back a few months, and then just go forward, okay? And from there, and you'll see me predicting what has been going on. And to me, I don't think it was really that difficult, and I don't think I'm the only one, but like I was very adamant about what I'm about to say again, is you're going to see a lot of left violence. You're going to see a lot of political figures on the left not endorsing it, but not you know, condemning it, which is insane. And that's what also has been going on with what just happened, you know, with Charlie. But I watched a lot of his content, and I watched a lot of David Pakman and the Young Turks, right? That's far left stuff, right? I watched that. I watched Real Time with Bill Maher, but then I get into other stuff. I'll go PBS, you know, and I've watched Wassine just to see what you gotta. My point is, if you have the time to, and I do, you can find the absolute truth, because there are money involved in this stuff. Editing that's taking place from people that are donating money to some of these left-leaning groups. It has come to be known recently. As far as I understand, I'd have to do a little bit more research to be totally confident on that, but that was what was being alleged. So I'm just being respectfully, like my mama taught me. Yeah, thanks, Brooke. Appreciate that. Anyway, I do like to. I wanted to make another channel. Like, I don't know if you also see that the goats here, and there's other animals. I like to make animal videos, but the AI thing, the CapCut, like the way it was set up, it was easy to. So I got to figure it out again. But like, I'm gonna get back to doing some of those funny animal videos, like 1 out of every 10. But this is not that just an animal channel, but you'll get some good ones every once in a while. Maybe I'll step outside and I'll just quickly show you guys what I'm talking about. Put my data on. So yeah, this is pretty cool shit. Hold on. This is fucking cool as hell. Let me turn this thing around. This is cool as hell. I want you guys to check this shit out. What do you think of thing? I think it's horrible what he did, what that man did to poor Charlie. Do you know what? There was nothing racist about. There was not a bone. He was such a gentle person. Never met him, so I can't go as far as saying that he